Hello beer tubers and welcome to yet another on the road video here in the Master of Hoppets. Today we're at Bad Seed Brewing in Brewing in Denmark, in northern Jutland, very close to Aalborg where we live. I'm here with Fennec, the owner and brewmaster.
I just call myself a brewer.
A brewer, okay, yeah, because you don't have the fancy papers from Germany.
I think maybe in 20 years time I'll call myself a brewmaster.
Yeah, well you have a lot of experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's just say owner and brewer.
Yeah.
Fennec and I know each other. We've known each other for a few years. We used to work together at a local beer bottle shop called Ølkonsort.
Legendary bottle shop.
Yes, one of the first in the country.
Yeah.
We worked there for quite a few years until it closed down.
Yeah, it was all voluntarily, so nobody made any money.
No, but we had a great, loads of great time drinking amazing beer. Yeah. I just saw some of the old bottles you have on the wall down there, Kate the Great and stuff like that, the old bottles of Dark Lord.
Yeah.
I think we even shared, that was at Vinspecialisten though, but we shared a bottle of Vanilla Bean Dark Lord.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
way back in the day. So yeah, we've had some good times. But Fennec went the brewing route, because you always homebrew when you worked at the store.
Yeah, together with one of the guys from the store.
Yeah.
Jesper.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I thought it was really fun. So I started out as like a really big beer geek, and just like you, sampling all beers I could get my hands on, and like quickly got involved with American beers and hoppy stuff, and like we were kind of at the same like part of our journey back then, when everything was new and exciting.
Yeah.
And as soon as I brewed with Jesper for the first time, I just thought that it was eye-opening for me to kind of see that you can actually make beer yourself from raw materials, and the way that you mash it, you actually like process the ingredients and make a beer that's drinkable, that's really good, and it just really caught my attention. Like I got really excited about brewing, and yeah, that kind of started it for me.
And it made you pursue a career in brewing, right?
Yeah, I did. I decided
you've been in a few places before opening this physical facility up, and contract brewing as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like most part of my brewing career previously to opening the brewery here was as a fancy brewer. So I was brewing at Ølsnekeren for 3 years before opening doors here. Prior to that, I had a few brewing jobs and did an internship with Peter Sonne, who was, back then it was at Nørrebro Bryghus in Copenhagen. Peter Sonne is the brewmaster for Flying Couch Brewing now, which he started 5-6 years ago. Or they got their own location 5-6 years ago. So he was kind of my mentor in professional brewing, and he was the first one to introduce me to like a big brewing system and making more than 20 liters of beer at a time. And I thought making beer in a professional environment was even cooler than being in the kitchen.
I agree. I like that more too, because you have many more parameters you can twist and turn, and like just there's so much more possibilities in fine-tuning the product compared to doing it in a plastic bucket at home. But back when we started homebrewing and all this, you didn't also have all the equipment they have now. With all the, you can get small stainless steel fermenters which is nuts.
Yeah, it was all plastic buckets and juice cookers.
Yes,
back then.
So, but I guess that's your foray into brewing. How many years did you work at different places before you opened up Bad Seed?
Well, I think I have around maybe a year of brewing experience before I started as a phantom brewer. Yeah. So I mean, not a lot. It was hard to get the kind of job that I wanted as a brewer, because I didn't just want to brew boring beers. I wanted to get. I applied for a job at, for example, Amager Bryghus, which was a brewery that I would have loved to get a job at, but I just didn't get one. Yeah. So I always had a creative energy to create my own recipes and to explore beers, and I've always thought that been really opinionated about beers, and so my perfect beer. That's what I'm trying to find with Bad Seed, and that was kind of the initial, like, I wanted to do things in a way that I saw wasn't there, I guess. So that was kind of my drive. So I had a lot of, really wanted to be able to make my own beers, and the only way I could do that was to start a phantom brewery, because, I mean, you don't hire a 22-year-old guy who comes in and is the production manager, obviously, but I thought, so I had to make my own phantom brewery, which I did, and So I was kind of forced to also run a company because then it went from being a hobby to actually having to be a business because all of a sudden you have customers you're dealing with and stuff like that. But I also found that part really exciting and really fun and enjoyed that. So it just grew from there. Phantom Brewing reached the production in 2017 after so my third year of, so the first beer was September 15, and then a full year of brewing in 16 and 2017. And I peaked at around 20,000 liters of production in 2017. And then I started here in 2018, late 2018.
We also have to mention you lived in Copenhagen originally?
Yeah.
You're originally from Aalborg and lived in Aalborg, lived in Copenhagen when you did all this brewing. And
I started, the Bad Seed Brewing was started in Copenhagen.
Yeah, when you...
And then I moved it back to Jylland.
Yeah. Back to the roots.
Back to the
back
roots.
Back to Aalborg, or at least very close by Aalborg.
Yeah, and this is actually a historic building we're in. It's not like the greatest thing in the world, but,
local
it used
history.
to be a local soda factory, the building we're in. And actually they've been in operation since 1914 or 1917, during World War I they started. And they've actually been brewing beer all the way up to the 1980s. And if you go over to the building opposite my building and go down to the basement, you'll see these, that's where they used to brew. And they have these concrete tubs, which used to be the fermenting vessels.
Oh, kind of like Yorkshire squares you see at
something like that, yeah. Cubic brick
fermenters,
and then mortar-lined fermenters, and then they have old aluminum tanks in the next room that they used to carbonate the beers in.
Okay.
So it's like there's a bit of brewing history going on down over there on the other side, but it's not worth much these days. Like it's forfældet.
Yeah, it's just worn down.
Yeah, it's worn down. It's not being taken care of.
No.
So, but yeah, it's a fun little history about the place, and they used to also make cider and apple juice out here. So
you could bring your own apples and have it pressed for juice.
Exactly. So and I mean, thousands of people did that every year. So a lot of the customers who come here and buy beer and like, they've been actually as a kid or as like way back, they would come every autumn with their apples together with their family, and they would exchange apples from the garden to a few cases of apple juice. So it's really nice to be in a building where people have sort of a connection to the place. And
because it's been standing still for many years.
Yeah, it did.
And now it's a facility back to quenching thirst, but with an alcoholic beverage instead.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers to that. We're standing with the brew house behind us.
Yeah.
Farley's actually brewing right now. He's brewing a new beer, a Helles.
Yeah, Johan just added the hops.
The bittering hops.
Yeah.
Johan is also part of Bad Seed Brewing.
Yeah, he's co-owner.
Yeah. So he added the hops for this Helles, and this brew kit here is something you constructed on your own as well. With,
not completely, but it was a worn down piece of equipment that was purchased from Æbeltoft Gårdbryggeri.
You might know them for Wildflower IPA.
Yeah, it's one of Denmark's best breweries in my opinion, and also big lager nerds like we are. And yeah, they had this brewing system lying around for quite some time, not really making any use of it, and it was in bad shape, bad condition. But I didn't have a lot of money when I started this brewery. I don't have a lot of money now either, but neither did I back then. And it was a cheap system, and I thought I can make this work. So I actually Simon Toft, who started Ølsnegeren back in 2012, I think. He's also doing smithing. Smith, call that?
Blacksmith work.
Yeah. Yes. So he's welding. He's a welder.
Welder. Okay.
Yeah, and so he helped me weld everything together and design. And together we sort of designed the brewing, the piping and the pipe works and pump stuff for it. So basically we got two different tons, and they weren't connected. So anything in between the kettle and the mash tun and stuff like that, we kind of had to design that from the bottom up.
And I guess it's been a learning curve working on this system as well.
Yeah, it has. It has. Like it was knock on wood. The first time I had to brew a beer, which was actually also a pilsner. It went quite well, but it was. I done tests with water previous to that, but it's a kind of a nerve-wracking experience to see if it would make
work.
beer. Well, it did.
We have a great example right now that it does work. This is Neue
Yeah.
Pilsner. It's a fantastic Pilsner.
Yeah, it's our best-selling beer.
It is.
Yeah.
That's pretty exceptional to hear that the Pilsner is the best selling. I think it makes sense in a term of, the place we're in Denmark. Most people here will drink Pilsner over IPAs and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's nice to hear actually.
I think a lot of
craft Pilsner is coming back.
A lot of newer Danish microbreweries, their best-selling brand would probably be an IPA.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, I've tried to really emphasize on lager production and doing also a lot of different styles of lager. Today we're brewing a Helles. I have a really big
fondness of lager.
Yeah, I really love drinking it, and
it's also the perfect drink to beers because you can have quite a few.
Yeah.
And I guess we talked about the journey of craft beer. I still love big bombastic flavors when you sit and share.
So do I.
But I love subtlety as well.
Yeah.
And Pilsner and lagers are often are all about subtle complexities.
Yeah.
And the problem I think with a lot of people is that they associate lager just with the mass-produced stuff, where you don't have that.
Yeah. And what I wanted to do also was to take lager beer seriously, because I thought, at least when we started Bad Seed, times have changed with regards to lager beer.
Yeah.
Just in the past 2 years, 3 years. But a lot of people were like not trying that hard, making Pilsner and making like quality lager. And I thought that was a big shame, because when you drink some of these German or Czech lager beers, they're just like bursting with flavor. Like, a lot of complexity can come from a really simple beer.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to explore that from the beginning, and well, it kind of ended that way. It wasn't part of the original plan. I thought I was just gonna be making IPAs and stouts up here, but then the lager just kind of caught on to me, and now that's like some of the most fulfilling beers for me to brew and also to drink is making lager.
Yeah,
and try to take it seriously and brew as high quality lagers as I can. That's a big part of my identity as a brewery these days, actually.
So you have a few big things coming up.
Yeah.
Barrels are standing here very close to us with some beer in it.
Yeah.
We got a canning line coming in soon.
We do have a canning line coming in. That's really exciting. In about a month, we'll have our own canning line. Previously, we've been using CanMan. Big shout out to CanMan.
Yeah.
You've been a great help. Really solid guys. And yeah, we've managed to. We did pretty well in 2020, even though it was like lockdowns and stuff. But because of being able to sell cans, we've actually managed to grow our business, and it's given us the possibility to expand and get our own canning line, which is going to give us a lot of flexibility, and which in the end is going to make us able to brew more beer, but also brew better beer, and give us full control of everything that's going on, which is great, which is really good. And then we spent the past few months, we've been starting a barrel program, like brewing some quite interesting beers. Like yesterday, or 2 days ago, we brewed a double mash barley wine, which is going to be pretty insane. And we have a stout and another barley wine aging in barrels. And that's like a really fun project.
It's a whole new world.
It is. It's the only, like, previous to that, the highest gravity beer we've made here was 8%, and now we have a 14% barley wine in barrels. So it's a whole new ballpark of brewing, and I think it's a really exciting journey to walk down. Now it's just a question of time, and hopefully we've done our job good enough to keep all bugs and stuff out of the beers, so they won't go sour, and we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
Now it's just a question of like
time.
Not sampling them all the time, and yeah, we're trying to be a bit disciplined.
Yeah. So
that
what's the future? So what other plans do you have? You talked about the barrel aging and the new canning line coming. What do you want to do in the future with Bad Seed?
Yeah, we're. I mean, I think barrel aging is going to become a more increasingly larger part of our output because it's so much fun. Everything we do is really about what we think is fun, and we make the beers we want to drink, and that's what drives us, Bad Seed. So there's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be. I mean, we're looking at maybe opening a place somewhere in Aalborg during the year. We hope to be able to find a place that's good. So we really want to focus on becoming more of a local brewery, and especially with the COVID times, we were doing home deliveries for people all over our community, and that's something that we cherish a lot. That we have really big support from both like hyperlocal in Gudumholm and in Storborg. The people are coming to our events, but also a lot of people in Aalborg, the largest city, are getting familiar with the beers and are enjoying what we make, and we want to establish Bad Seed as more of even more of a local brewery. Yeah,
That's really cool.
I think it's really important as a brewer that you're opinionated about beer and that you are curious about beers in general, and that you drink a lot of beer, not your own beer. Not your own beer. I drink a lot of my own beer.
You need to drink really good beer to also brew really good beer. Because if you haven't tried really great beer, it's hard to, you don't know what to taste after, what to aim after.
You need to know where the bar is.
Yeah.
And you need to be curious. I think that's really important, and I think that's a big part of what makes me able to brew good beer is that I know what I want to brew, and I'm starting to learn how to get there.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thanks for the chat, Mike. It's been fun.
Thanks for the visit.
No
Cheers.
problem.
And I almost finished the Neupilsner.
You're talking a lot and you're drinking faster than me. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
But cheers, guys. We're gonna have a little chat with Johan about the distillery here as well, Fennec Spirits, that's been opened. Yeah. And so you guys can see the place here and a lot of the beer roll. It's a very big place with a lot of room for growth, which is awesome.
And for fun, a lot of room for fun.
And for fun. And I've seen you've done that already where you had the summer with was it the anniversary party or what was it?
Yeah. We had it was actually just a summer open house. So we met a lot of support during the COVID times, and then we wanted to give back to the community, so we just gave away free beer. Opened up our taps. We hadn't been selling so much draft beer in the lockdown period, so we had some draft beer, and we thought, let's give people a beer and say thank you, and have people come out and see our place. We want to do that a lot more. Obviously, that's impossible now because we can't.
Second lockdown.
Second lockdown. It's a pretty tough lockdown at the moment in Denmark. But I think when summer comes, we'll be able to do more of that and bring people in and get them more acquainted with the place and the people behind it and the beers, of course. But
it's gonna be great.
Place, people, and beer.
Yeah. It's the whole community around beer is what also makes it really fun.
Yeah, it is.
So
it is. Yeah,
people are great usually. Beer people are usually good people.
Definitely.
It's a saying I learned in the States. But thanks a ton for the chat, Mike.
Cheers, man.
Thanks a ton for the beer. Lovely Pilsner.
You can have as much as you want. You don't even have to drive home.
Yeah. That's the perfect part.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a chat, as I said, with Johan in a bit, and then talk to you guys about Fennec Spirits. So cheers.
Cheers, man.
And see you guys for that. So as I told you guys, there's not only a brewery out here at Bad Seed Brewing, we also have a distillery.
Yep.
And I'm here with Johan, who's part owner of the distillery. You guys are, if you're familiar, if you're from the Aalborg area, you might know Johan because he also, with his family, has been running Wildebeest Gastropub, which was a it's just Is it temporarily closed or permanently?
It's so far temporarily. Hopefully it will reopen again soon.
Yeah.
We are still waiting for the final decision, and hopefully this week or next week, but who knows?
Yeah, it's a gastropub doing mainly American style gastropub food, lots of burgers, sliders. Arguably some of the best sliders and burgers in town.
Well,
in my mind, I've been a few times. They're pretty damn delicious.
Nice.
But yeah, so currently temporary closed because of some things. But they're involved with Seed Breiwng as well, and opened this distillery this year called Fennec Spirits.
So we launched our brand this November. Officially, we acquired some of the equipment already in February, but then the famous Corona hit us, and we had to wait a little bit longer to launch. But we're finally here, and we've done some gins primarily to begin with. One schnapps, I think it's called in English as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, schnapps and akkefiet, and
Yeah.
it's something like that.
Yeah. So something to go with the famous julefrokost and påskefrokost here in Denmark. And we also have some experimental brands now coming out, just labeled today. So this is a grain brandy made from leftover beer from Seed Breiwng. So of course, when you have a brewery as well, we might as well take advantage of that.
Yeah, and you've been labeling today some of those.
Yeah. We labeled 3 different types. So one grain brandy, one apple brandy, and one which is we call a brandy bastard. So it's not really made after the EU regulation according to making a proper brandy, but you will hear more about that soon, I promise.
Yeah, I mean, so far they taste quite nice. I've had samples of all of them. I really like the apple brandy, but I'm a sucker for apple brandy already in barrel aging in beer.
Oh yeah.
So that intense, like appley, cinnamony thing is very nice. And they got some dark colors, as you see, because you do oak chip aging at the moment.
Yeah, oak chip at the moment until we acquire some proper barrels, or at least make this in a sufficient quantity to fill barrels. I think that's the main problem, actually.
Yeah. How many liters do you produce now when you do these experimental?
The grain brandy is only 50 bottles of 35 centiliters. Of the apple brandy is just under 100, and for the wine brandy bastard it's 140 bottles. So it's a very low amount.
Small batch experimental series.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
yeah, not enough to fill barrels.
No. But the gin is a bit different story then. You produce more of that.
Yeah, we produce mostly dry gin to the London dry standards. We don't put anything into them. Besides this one. So this is an oak infused. So you see the coloring of the label is pretty much the same as our experimental batches, and it tastes really nice. I hope you guys will have some time to try it out. Yeah, give it a shot.
And we're here with the still behind us.
Yeah.
So stainless steel still. You have some copper threads.
Yeah.
For the distillate to go through. So how does the distilling work for you guys here?
It's this is a hybrid column or a reflux column, it's also called. So it's much more of an engineering project, this type of still, than you see the traditional pot still. It's not as sexy as the copper pot stills, but this is a really good and precise way of distilling. Not that the others don't do that, but it takes a lot less effort, so to say. But we have the boiler here. It's a 500 liter boiler. Then the steam goes through the copper, and then we have some ceramic packings up in the columns. It goes all the way up. You can see it in this, and then you have a condenser that controls the vapor that goes into the condenser. The actual condenser, which makes it to the alcohol, and then vapor that goes down again. So you will have some refluxing there. So theoretically, you will have, I don't know, like 40, 50 theoretical distillations in one run.
Okay, wow.
Before it comes out.
That you can produce a much cleaner spirit.
Yeah, depending on if we can produce 96% spirit from here, if we want to do that, and then you have like refluxing for 40-50 times before it reaches our container. But we run it in pot still mode to make our gin and our experiments to preserve as much flavor as possible.
That's very cool. So it's a very early and new project this year. So I know you're just getting started, you're getting some bottles out, and you're trying to see what people think and whatnot. But it might be early to talk about future plans, but what are some of the things you guys kind of want to play around with? I know you already on the beer side, you like to play around a lot. You do things that you like to drink.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to reflect as well with the spirits?
Yeah, definitely. So especially, we really do like gin. Gin and tonics, Negronis, other gin sours, all those cocktails. We are really huge fans, and we want to make gins that we think are the perfect match for those. But also, like with our oak gin, you can drink it neat. You can have it on the rocks, however you like it. I think they are suitable for different purposes, but mainly what we prefer ourselves. For our experiments, that's also just to create some synergy between the distillery and the brewery. For example, future plans would be a barrel program in which we share the barrels, go back and forth. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean you have the space.
We have the space.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Well, that's not something that we are gonna lack in the future.
No. But it sounds like a really cool project. I love the idea of doing these super small batch things where you can try a lot of stuff out. Yeah. Especially like trying to do an apple brandy, for example.
Yeah.
Like you can't call it Calvados because it's not from the area, but like they do in the States, apple brandies and
apple jacks, whatever it's called.
Applejack, whatever it's called. Yeah. I think that's a very cool idea to do instead of only doing gin as well, because gin is quite popular already, but it's fun to see some experimental stuff going on too.
Yeah, and also we have a lot of apples in Denmark.
Everywhere.
But locally, these are apples from Frugthaven, which is well, it's not large per se, but it's not small either. So kind of medium-sized apple
orchard.
Orchard, yeah, exactly. And they make some really good juices from them as well. So it's nice to collaborate with local
businesses
as well. Yeah.
Do some stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds like very cool stuff, and will be interesting to follow both this and of course also Bad Seed Brewing on the other side, and see what you guys can have in store. So, yeah, thanks for joining here. And
thank you for having me.
No worries. Having a bit of chat, and finally, this is my first time going here. It's nuts. You guys been here for a while now. I should have come earlier.
I thought you had. I thought you were familiar with this place, but
it is very nice.
Goddamn, Peter.
But finally we made it.
Yes.
So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks a ton to both you and Fennec for having the time to chat about your products and what you're doing here. Hope you guys want to check out their products as well. They make some nice stuff and they're great people. So make sure to check it out if you're in the Aalborg area or just online where most of these things can be found out at. You also have a web shop, right?
Yeah, I have a small web shop. So check it out. FennecSpirits.dk, BadSeedBrewing.dk.
There you go. So. As always, guys, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And remember to follow Bad Seed Brewing and Fennec Spirits online as well. And see you guys for another On The Road video.